NFTs do. For many of us, it's just pictures. For some of us, it's something else. The next panel is going to define what are the fundamentals of NFTs, use cases and implementation. I'm inviting Dayan, Vijay, Klemen, Tomas, and Youssef on stage. Guys, give them a big hand of applause.
Hello, everyone. Thank you very much to be here, and I'm really glad to be here. Thank you to all the team of NFT NYC. Thank you, Jody, for all this. It's amazing, and so I'm glad to be here with this gentleman. So we are all engineers, and we have implemented various use cases in terms leveraging NFT. So we will speak about them and how we have implemented them. So let's have a quick run. So Vijay, please.
Chuck. Hey guys, good afternoon. Always the 2:30 to 3 is the peak nap time in a conference. So thanks for being awake. My name is Vijay. I'm the head of technical sales for DevTools at Consensus. If you don't know Consensus, the MetaMask company. My background is a little different from what you normally hear. I spent 19 years in Wall Street building tech. And one fine day, one of the exec called me to do a research work about blockchain, and now looking back after that to the Wall Street. So I built the IBM blockchain practice for 4 years on the architecture, implemented more than 60, 70 projects in 3 years, then led the AWS partner blockchain ecosystem, onboarded almost like 15 to 16 partners with AWS, launched a few products in AWS for the blockchain ecosystem, including Chainlink, and here with Consensus, getting Consensus to the next steps. That's my background.
Great. My name is Klemen. I'm CEO, co-founder of Kalmia. My background is from electrical engineering. Kalmia is in this ecosystem from 2017. Actually, our first project was implementation of ERC 71 standard. I think we were one of the first worldwide, and this was actually possible because the advisor at that time was Willem Entricken, who is also one of the authors of this standard. Today, we have customers all over the world. We're fully focused in Web3 development. We are mainly our customers are startups, but in last year and a half, we noticed that more and more enterprises come to us because they want to jump into the Web3. They want to start with some NFT projects, so on. So that's why we have also started with our own Web3 Academy. We call it Web3 Spaces, when we want to teach representatives of enterprises how to start with F3, how to start with their first NFT projects.
Okay, guys. Hello, my name is Tomas. First of all, thank you for having me here. I'm founder of Dobby Labs, which is a blockchain development company. We are doing AVM-compatible chains, but also Solana, Near Cosmos. We are doing back-end, front-end, but mostly we are focused on smart contracts and smart contracts auditing on AVM chains. We also made a blockchain academy on our university 1 year ago in Zlín, in Czech Republic. It was mainly focused on basic Solidity smart contracts on Faculty of Applied Informatics. And my background is, again, a little bit different. I studied law and economy, but I'm in crypto since 2013. I bought a few Bitcoins and then made a lot of mistakes, expensive mistakes. but like, I really like Web3 and the tech around, so I found Dobby Labs to understand it better. Because right now, I can just like ask my developers and they will explain me everything. So that's what we are doing. And we are also solving a delegation of ownership of NFTs.
Yeah, thank you. So I'm Youssef. I come from a software engineering background. I'm a software engineer. I worked in the aerospace industry. Then I worked at consulting, mainly technical consulting, architecture, etc. And so I worked on so many technical projects at EY. I worked on multiple blockchain projects as well for some scale-ups in France and also from some big companies like General Electric. And from there, I started my own startup in late 2021. Its name is JPEGs. We are building the infrastructure for NFT cross-chain renting based on ERC 4907 and XLR technology.
And my name is Dayan Brunie. I'm architect and lead engineer in Consensus. So I'm leading NFT-related initiatives, so developing new product for Consensus and also doing some job for large brands. So non-fungible tokens are basically records of ownership in a decentralized ledger through smart contracts that is implementing some business logic. So from this, you can implement an infinite possibilities of use cases. So let's jump directly into our past implementation and describe our favorite use cases that leverage NFT that we have implemented. You want to start?
Yeah, so we provide the renting infrastructure for games, and so we see a lot of in-game assets. And one of the coolest ones that we have worked on with a game called Exiled Racers on Moonbeam. They have these 3 NFT collections, and each one of them is an item, and each one of these items needs to be bundled into a new NFT that is representing the in-game asset that could be rented through our infrastructure. I just thought that was a very cool way to kind of, instead of fractionalizing NFTs, which you see a lot, like just bundle NFTs into a new asset, sort of like a synthetic NFT asset.
Great. Clement.
Yeah, thank you. So we have done quite a lot of projects or different implementations in last years in different industries like gaming, like sports, ecology, and so on. But I would talk about another case, which is actually COVID-19. COVID-19 testing certificates issued by COVID-19 testing labs. We've done this for one of the US customers, and we have actually implemented certificates in the form of NFTs. And I'm mentioning this case because I see, I would say, quite a good path how this can evolve in the future in some very good use cases. But I'm not talking here about COVID-19, God no. I'm talking about certification process, I'm talking about certificates.
Yeah, where you can leverage shellbound tokens and this kind of new kind of implementation.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, so yeah, go ahead, please.
Okay, so I will be also speaking about like renting of NFTs and delegation of ownership, because that's something we are focused on right now. What we are making is a Adobe protocol, which is delegation layer. We made our own extension. We are not using 4907. We made our own extension of 5501. There is quite a difference. For example, the NFT stays in your wallet, and then you can list on multiple marketplaces, and so on and so on. And about the use cases, I see quite a lot, because like in offline world, you have 2 roles of everything. For example, car. I'm owner of the car, and when you are driving my car, you are user of my car. If I have bicycle, flat, I'm owner of the flat, and someone else using it, he's user. But I'm still owner. And we just like combining these 2 things and making it happen in like Web3 on AVM compatible chains. Then I can like have NFT, owner of the NFT, and I can delegate ownership to you. You can play the game, kill the boss, try the sword, and so on, or try the game and then decide if you want to buy NFTs and try the game, and so on. You can also have your NFTs in Trezor, and you can delegate ownership to your daily wallet, so no one can steal your NFTs from you, because when you are a user, you are not able to transfer the NFTs, so it's like improving the security. And also you can make, for example, buy now, pay later functionality, because you pay 20%, you will be user. When you pay the rest, you will be owner. And there is also other use cases. For example, you need money, you have NFTs, you stake the NFT to smart contract, you will receive the loan, and you will be still user. So you can still use the NFT. And when you pay the money back, you will be owner, and then you can transfer, and so on, so on.
Amazing. So this can extend a lot. It can be used in a lot of kind of use cases. So it's so rich, and yeah, it's bring up the utility more further. Vijay.
Yeah, so I'm going to stick on with a more easier use case, and also one of my favorite because it has a very strong messaging, behind the scenes. Some of you might have heard about the MacGlom drop, which happened earlier this year from ST Lauder. So we did the MacGlom drop for ST Lauder earlier. It is a unique NFT with a digital twin. It's a 3 lipstick series, for who is interested in fashion and cosmetics. So the message behind the NFTs are promoting social awareness about AIDS. So this is one of the first social awareness project that came into existence in this space through NFTs. And believe me, I had like hard time getting the NFT for myself. It was just like selling so quick. I had to wait in a queue for like 45 minutes to get my chance to buy. So I think that is one of the eye-opener in the industry, that NFTs can also promote a lot of social cause and social awareness in the industry.
So much use cases. So yeah, I like a use case about ticketing. It was for a luxury brand where you have some ticketing to access some privilege. So for example, go to fashion show, private sales, metaverse events, and so on. And it was a non-transferable assigned to the person. So leveraging also soulbound token, so really interesting. So yeah, you have ticketing, you have tomorrow people spoke about real estate, you have identity, you have it's infinite. Guys, what would you see as the next big use case, and what would be the key drivers to be able to have a mass adoption? Vijay.
Yeah, I think most of us are thinking, okay, what's next in the NFT place? I can share some bits and pieces of information about a couple of work that we are doing behind the scenes. So let's think about NFTs next, but think about NFTs as digital assets. So when you talk about digital assets, it could be data. Right? Behind the scenes, everything is data. So think about sharing data using NFTs. Is going to be the way that we all going to move forward. For example, you have a sophisticated data set of some information, right? Say patient records, for example. And there is always pharma companies and the clinical trial companies trying to get this information about patients to do their clinical trials. And this information can be created in traded in a marketplace, ensuring the compliance and regulation and HIPAA, everything is maintained. At the same time, the NFTs kind of provide a platform for you to sell the NFT, make the end user use that data for a certain amount of time, and then burn the NFT so that the data access goes away, right? So this is one of the newer ways of seeing how NFTs are taking over things that happen in real life or closer to you and me in our daily life. So I think this is changing the world that we look at now, how in person or how in real life, you get to use more and more NFTs as we mature in this industry.
Yeah, with NFT gated platform and so on, yeah, it's totally something that will make it really util.
Yeah, sure. For me, it might be wishful thinking because we are doing rent and NFTs, but I see more and more real estate coming on chain. That is really great, and I think talking about the challenges that you talked about, the main thing that there is regulation basically, and I think the use case there is very strong because it makes buying and selling houses instant, easy. The renting of houses also becomes a lot easier, and even if there is any contention or any problems, you can solve them a lot easier with code. Going back to the principles of crypto, code is law, etc. I see a big use case there, and even if a fraction of that market moves on chain, that's huge for the NFT technology.
Yeah, true. But yeah, regulatory is a big challenge, and when everything is going badly, it can be complex. Klemen.
Yeah, I think that's a bit of $1 million question, eh? But I would refer to you because you mentioned the soulbound tokens. But first of all, I think that a real adoption will actually happen when we as users will not know that NFTs and Web3 technologies are actually used under the hood. So the whole user experience will be so fluid, so frictionless that we will not care about the technology. And when you mentioned the soulbound tokens, and I mentioned before the certificates, I think this is one of the cases, one of the ways when things could go. So we're talking about certificates, we're talking about degrees, we're talking about personal identity at the end of the day. So these are all the cases which are more sorted out on the back end, you know. We need it today, and I think it could go in the way that this would be in the future solved on the blockchain with NFTs and so on.
Yeah, totally aligned. And yeah, today I think social use cases are key because social is key. And today social platforms are broken. Everything that goes wrong, I would say, that data exploit, hacking and so on is about social platforms. So we have papers that have been written that is a decentralized society, DSOC, with co-writer Vitalik Buterin, that is speaking about the decentralized society that put at the center soulbound tokens. It's all, today use cases are ultra financialized, and we need to have this kind of implementation where you have social identity, where you have reputation, where you have achievements, badge, and so on. And I really think this use case is really key. And one thing that would help is to just put apart the blockchain and just speak about the use case directly, not highlighting its NFT. But you have your use case, and then it's backed by blockchain. You have, for example, Reddit that did something well in this direction, so we'll see what happens.
Yeah.
Thomas.
Yeah, I totally agree. Like, I see bright future for NFTs and like tokenization of everything, and NFTs revolutionize ownership on internet. So music, it's already here, and where I see like a next big thing, I still think that it will be gaming, because players of the game, they are already used to use technology and so on, and you can see, for example, Steppen on Solana. There is data that a lot of new users came to Web3 because of Steppen, just because they like running, and then they install a Phantom and download a Steppen. So I still think that the next big thing will be gaming, but we are not there yet. Like, build really great game takes a time, so it will not be tomorrow, but I think, yeah, we will make it.
Yeah, I'm sure so. So we are in the developer track, so now let's speak about implementation, about our biggest challenge in terms of implementation. So one thing I see is today we have the main use case that we see, it's collectibles, and one of the biggest challenge is about true randomness. So how to implement true randomness in a collection, basically. So there is some example like Bored Ape Yacht Club, where they use a provenance hash that hash all the metadata, the picture, for example, of the collection beforehand. And they put, when they initialize the contract, they put this provenance hash as a proof that the collection has not been updated. And at the end, when all the collection is minted, you have an index that is generated on-chain. So it enables that developer, as well user, developer, and the team are not able to snipe the best collectibles. So then the index will be where the collection will start from. So token ID 1 will be where the starting index will start. So yeah, it's one of the challenge I met, and I think a lot of collection met with some problem where people were able to snipe the best items. Vijay.
Yeah, I think, I always think tech is an easy thing to figure out, right? If there is not one way, there's always another way to do the tech. So I think my greatest challenge in NFT implementation is interop. One particular NFT that is issued in one platform, one metaverse, one network, or one use case cannot be transported or cannot be easily moved to another use case or a metaverse or a platform or network. I think if we solve the interop problem, I think we have a much healthier and a stronger ecosystem. And I think the use cases will start opening up. And I think that's where I keep telling everyone that we need to bring NFTs closer to people's life. And I think the only way that we can do is using interoperability seamlessly.
Good.
Yeah, I can agree with that. I think interoperability is one really, I would say, strong issue right now. For us as an agency, it's a challenge, to stay on top of all the chains that are coming to life on a monthly basis. For example, only in Polkadot you will have 100 chains, they call it parachains in the future. And it's a quite, I would say quite a nightmare. Still, don't get me wrong, I am on the side where I think that there should be a lot of chains. But a lot of these chains are not reliable. A lot of these chains, documentation is bad. And customers come to us and they want that chain, that chain, that chain. This is quite a challenge for us. And when you have so many chains, of course, there is always an issue of interoperability.
Yeah, interoperability's challenge is a big thing. Youssef.
Yeah, I have to agree on the interoperability front. And there are, I think, at least for us, there are two ways we kind of deal with that and also look at that. First of all, standardization. So standards need for us, especially written games and other dApps that build on us, they need to be able to implement that these functions to be interoperable with our standard. And standardization is great, but it's not sufficient. And if each time we need to extend new standards, it just becomes a mess for developers. Another thing is chains, as you talked about, and that's why we are cross-chain. And we do believe that these new use cases of like XLR that we are building on that provide general message passing between blockchains or layer 0 or all of these new protocols are very promising. But sometimes when I'm building, I feel like we're trying to build Instagram with 1990 stack. It's really like the stack is not there yet, I feel like, and we're really struggling on that front. So yeah, this is the problem, I think, today.
So there is a challenge of implementing the use case, but there is also the challenge about implementing standards, because standards is the basis for all smart contract, main smart contract in NFT. So Tomas, can you tell us more about the challenge that you encounter by implementing some standard? So 5501, for example.
Yeah, so from my point of view, and I'm not a developer, I see like technical things can be solved. More or less can be solved. But when I see like big challenge, when you make like some extension of ERC 721 or some standard, is the implementation. You really need to spread the awareness about what's for the extension is, what's the benefits. Then there is a challenge how to explain it like on a really basic level, so everyone can understand all the benefits and so on, because not everyone is a tech guy. As I said, I study law and economy, so I'm trying to like explain it from a business point of view, like when you can delegate ownership, as I said here. So implementation definitely, because there is a lot of really good standards and really good extensions, and no one using them. So implementation.
Yeah, big challenge that is being used, but yeah, also to converge. For example, Soulbound token, there are 8 standards today, but it's okay because there are different kind of implementation. But yeah, it's a challenge. Yeah. So now, closing thought. What you guys will say to our audience about some key takeaway for successful NFT project implementation? Vijay.
So I think my piece of advice is always less focus on technology, more focus on business problem. I think that's where the success factor relies on. My second advice is education. I think we all, as evangelists here, have to do a better job of educating people so people can understand things in a very simple way. I think we all like over complex things, talking about smart contracts and interop and all that. But I think there is a good amount of people in this industry who needs to understand things at a layman level. I think that's where we do a very poor job. I think more and more education needs to be part of the system.
Klemen?
Yeah, my first advice would be if you have your own project, then set your long-term vision and long-term strategy, because from that you will see what kind of development team you will need for that, for implement your vision and your strategy. And when selecting your development team, do it wisely. I'm not saying this just because we are a development agency, but we see so many customers coming to us and they're disappointed with their current development team. And at the end of the day, if you have a good development team, then tech will go, and you can focus on what is really important for you as a project owner, which is business development, which is product building, which is marketing, which is community management, and so on.
Tomas?
So what came to my mind when you said NFTs, it's a community. From me, like we are right now really close to each other because of internet, Twitter Spaces, and so on and so on. And like NFTs are all about the community. So build the community from the ground, do the job, do the hard work, and then it will pay off.
Youssef?
Yeah, in the spirit of what you guys said, I would say double down on your strengths and bring people to help you for your weaknesses. And so yeah, if tech is your strength, double down on it. Double down on it. If it's not, then bring the right people and get help as much as you can.
So we are out of our time. So thank you very much. So yeah, use cases are infinite and implementation also. So yeah, let's rely on standards, on SDK and all this stuff to build some strong foundations. Thank you all.
Thank you.
Thank you. It was great. We need to take
Thank you very much, guys.
We need to take a